Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. Coming up in the next hour, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate ICA Global Cooperative Conference 2024 to launch UN International Year of Cooperatives 2025. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar inaugurates new embassy premises in Rome to participate in the 10th Mediterranean Dialogue. Uruguay's centre-left candidate Orsi claims victory in razor-tight election. President opposition candidate Alvaro Delgado concedes defeat. And in sports, India is 7 wickets away from securing a remarkable win at Perth. Aussies enter fourth day with their backs to the wall at 12 runs for 3 wickets. The ICA Global Cooperative Conference 2024 begins in New Delhi today, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurating it at Bharat Mandapam. With the theme Cooperatives Build Prosperity for All, the conference aligns with India's Sehkar Se Samriddhi, or Prosperity Through Cooperation vision. It will focus on the role of cooperatives in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. PM Modi will also launch the UN International Year of Cooperatives 2025, themed Cooperatives Build a Better World, and unveil a commemorative postal stamp symbolizing India's commitment to the cooperative movement. The event will be attended by Bhutan's Prime Minister Dasho Tshering Tobgay, Fiji's Deputy Prime Minister Manoa Kamika, and around 3,000 delegates from over 100 countries. Let's now quickly tell you what is the International Cooperative Alliance. Well, the ICA is the global organization that unites, represents and serves cooperatives around the world. Founded in 1895, London, it is one of the oldest and largest non-governmental organizations, which represents 1 billion cooperative members globally. With approximately 3 million cooperatives across the planet, the ICA serves as the apex body for the cooperative movement. It has over 306 member organizations across 105 countries. 2024 ICA Global Conference will mark a historic milestone as it takes place in India for the first time. The conference theme is Cooperatives Build Prosperity for All, which highlights people-centered, purpose-driven and progress-oriented nature of cooperatives. India has been a central figure in the development and success of the International Cooperative Alliance Asia Pacific. India has been a driving force in shaping cooperative models that have had a profound impact across the Asia-Pacific region. India's cooperative movement is deeply ingrained in its socio-economic fabric. India's cooperative movement reflects values of unity, mutual aid and collective prosperity. The cooperative sector in India spans various domains such as agriculture, banking, housing and rural development. Cooperatives have been instrumental in empowering marginalized communities. The Indian government has played an active role in supporting the cooperative model. In 2021, the Ministry of Cooperation was established to strengthen the cooperative sector further. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar inaugurated the new Chancery of the Embassy of India in Rome, Italy on Sunday. Speaking on the occasion, the minister said it befits the continued expansion of India-Italy partnership in recent years and that the new premises will help authorities serve better the Indian community in Italy. Dr. Jaishankar also spoke about the long-standing civilizational ties between India and Italy, highlighting their shared social structures.
The opening of a new embassy, our own property, is always a very important occasion for any relationship. It is also a reflection of the commitment and vision of our leaders today in taking forward our ties. There is a convergence in our worldviews, a synergy in our endeavors in addressing global and regional issues, and definitely a new enthusiasm for developing our bilateral ties. India's growing engagement with Europe and particularly to Italy, which we see both as a very influential European and Mediterranean country, certainly reinforce each other. And we've been very pleased to see that Prime Minister Meloni's government has given more attention to Asia and specifically to India.
Dr. Jaishankar also interacted with the Indian community and Friends of India in Rome. He is on a 3-day visit to Italy from the 24th to the 26th of November. The minister will participate in the 10th edition of the Mediterranean Dialogue in Rome, being organized by the Institute for International Political Studies in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Italy. During the visit, the minister will also participate in the outreach session of the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting, where India has been invited as a guest country. He is also expected to meet his counterparts from Italy and other participating nations in the G7 related engagements and hold bilateral discussions during the visit. The winter session of India's Parliament begins on Monday with discussions planned on various bills. The third session of the 18th Lok Sabha and the 266th session of the Rajya Sabha will see the introduction of at least 16 bills. These include the Muslim Waqf Repeal Bill 2024 and the Waqf Amendment Bill. And apart from the Waqf Bill, 5 bills are listed for introduction and passing in both houses of Parliament. The 5 new bills include Merchant Shipping Bill, Coastal Shipping Bill, Indian Ports Bill, Punjab Courts Amendment Bill and Rashtriya Sehkari Vishwavidyalaya Bill. The session will last till the 20th of December and will have 19 sittings. The government held an all-party meeting ahead of the session, after which Parliamentary Affairs Minister requested the members to ensure smooth functioning of the session.
हम सिर्फ अनुरोध यही करते हैं कि सदन अच्छा से चले, हंगामा ना हो। कोई भी विषय पार्लियामेंट में रखता है तो शांतिपूर्वक उस विषय को चर्चा होगा तो बहुत लाभ मिलेगा। हर सदस्य चर्चा में भाग लेना चाहता है, लेकिन सदन अच्छी तरह से चलना चाहिए। हमने आरंभ में हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को अपील किया है कि ये शीतकालीन सत्र, विंटर सेशन ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट अच्छी तरह से चले। इसमें सबका सहयोग चाहिए और सबका भागीदारी जरूरी है।
DD India's Vishal Baristona joins us more from New Delhi. Vishal, well, the government has requested all party leaders for active cooperation and support for smooth functioning of the two houses of Parliament. Could it still be a stormy start to the winter session?
A very good morning to you, Munmun, and you nailed it correctly. Yes, it is going to be a stormy session because remember during the monsoon session when this Waqf bill was introduced, there was a lot of ruckus in the Parliament, and the bill was then sent to the Joint Parliamentary Committee, and the Joint Parliamentary Committee is expected to present its report in both houses by the last day of the first week of this session. But the opposition has been demanding that the timing at the time of schedule of the Joint Parliamentary Committee should be extended, which has not been agreed upon. And that is why we are expecting quite a stormy session. The opposition is also gearing up. And let me tell you that we have had elections. The NDA has won 2 major elections in Haryana and Maharashtra. And also the opposition has won in Jharkhand and Jammu and Kashmir. So it is going to be a very stormy session, and we are expecting issues like Adani and Manipur once again to be raised by the opposition in this winter session. Munmun?
Vishal, 26th November is Constitution Day. How is that going to be celebrated?
Well, when it comes to the celebration of the Constitution Day, it would be observed by all parties. And when they are out of the house, they are friends. But when they are inside the lower or the upper house, it is then that the opposition and the struggle starts. But tomorrow, it is going to be the Constitution Day, and it would be celebrated with proper celebration, all parties attending the celebration, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha and also the chairperson of the upper house along with the members of the both houses would be participating in the event. But when we talk about this winter session, there are 16 bills, 5 for introduction, consideration and passage, and 11 for consideration and passage. But all eyes are set on the Waqf Amendment Bill, which aims to curtail the powers of the Waqf Board. And the opposition has been gunning for providing all powers to the Waqf Board, not to go for the curtailment of their powers. But it's up to the Joint Parliamentary Committee, which would present its report in both houses of the Parliament, and then we would get to know how the House proceeds.
We'll leave it at that. Vishal Baristo reporting from New Delhi. Let's now take a look at other stories making news. A fire erupted at a pharmaceutical factory at Ambarnath in Maharashtra's Thane on Monday. Firefighters are on site working to control the blaze, according to the Thane Municipal Corporation. Handwara police, in collaboration with security forces, uncovered a terrorist hideout in the Mughalpora, Kremhora forest area, recovering ammunition and explosives. Tripura Chief Minister Manik Saha launched a blood donation camp at Agiye Chalo Sangha in Agartala, highlighting the growing importance of voluntary blood donation as a key social movement in the state. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Romanian Prime Minister ahead in the first round of presidential vote. UAE arrests suspects in the killing of Israeli Rabbi, claim no leniency to any attempts that threaten societal stability will be absorbed. Ukraine strikes Russian drones as it operates air defenses against new drone attack. Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India. You're watching DD India News Hour with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. Uruguay's centre-left opposition candidate Yamandu Ori secured a victory in the presidential election with 99% of votes tallied in a second-round race. Yamandu Orsi secured a small but comfortable margin of 49.81% of the vote to conservative Alvaro Delgado's 45.9%. Orsi addressed thousands of his Broad Front Party supporters in Montevideo after the results. Both Delgado and Uruguay's president fellow National Party member Luis Lacalle Pau conceded the election, swiftly congratulating Orsi and offering to help with the transition after results signaled a victory for the centre-left. Orsi, Delgado and Lacalle Pau all expressed goodwill for their political opposition and pledged to work together to move the country forward. Romanian Premier Marcel Ciolaso led the first round of Sunday's presidential election with 25% votes, and a runoff seemed likely after 2 weeks. Siolaso, candidate of the Social Democratic Party, was followed by Elena Lasconi of the Save Romania Union Party with 18%. Some 9.4 million people casted their votes in the polls that closed on Sunday, indicating an over 50% voter turnout. Voters were choosing between 13 candidates to replace outgoing President Klaus Ioannidis, and the top two move on to a runoff on 8th December if no single candidate gets more than 50% of the vote in the first round. 3 people have been arrested in the United Arab Emirates in connection with the murder of an Israeli citizen. The UAE ministry statement did not give details on the suspects or say if they had been charged, but said all legal powers would be used to respond decisively and without leniency to any actions in fact or attempts that threaten societal stability. Zvi Kogan was a resident of the UAE and also a Moldovan national. He worked with the New York-based Orthodox Jewish Chabad movement and was first reported missing on Thursday. His body was discovered on Sunday. Kogan's body was found in the Emirati city of Al Ain, which borders Oman. The body of the murdered Israeli citizen would hopefully be repatriated to Israel on Monday. Iran has rejected allegations that it was involved in the murder of Israeli Rabbi Zvi Kogan in the UAE. While the White House said it was working in close coordination with Israel and the UAE, Israel reissued a recommendation to citizens to avoid non-essential travel to the UAE and said those now there should minimize movement, remain in secure areas and avoid visiting places associated with Israel and Jewish populations. The UAE has maintained the relationship during the 13-month Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. There are no official synagogues in Dubai, the UAE's biggest city and commercial hub, but the UAE's one government-approved synagogue in Abu Dhabi remains open. After more than a year into the Israel-Hamas conflict, calls for ceasefire can be heard from all corners. As per the latest reports, Israel is moving towards a ceasefire agreement in Lebanon with the Hezbollah. U.S. mediator Amos Hochstein highlighted progress in negotiations during a visit to Beirut last week. Israeli media reported that Netanyahu had convened a meeting of his security cabinet, but a separate report from Israel's public broadcaster Khan said that there was no green light given on an agreement in Lebanon, with issues yet to be resolved. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell on Sunday said a U.S. ceasefire proposal was awaiting final approval from Israel on his visit to Lebanon. Borrell said the EU was ready to allocate $208 million to support the Lebanese army. Hezbollah fired heavy...
Coming, but it's not coming. Someone is not interested in it. And everybody should understand that the ceasefire is absolutely needed, because the Lebanon capacity is to continue taking care of their people, in spite of the great efforts of these medical doctors, nurses, and hospital organization, has a limit.
Hezbollah fired heavy rocket barrages at Israel on Sunday, while Israel also struck Beirut's Hezbollah-controlled southern suburbs, where intensified bombardment over the last 2 weeks has coincided with signs of progress in US-led ceasefire talks. Hezbollah, which has previously vowed to respond to attacks on Beirut by targeting Tel Aviv, said it had launched precision missiles at 2 military sites in Tel Aviv and nearby. Israel's military said Hezbollah had fired 250 rockets at Israel, of which many were intercepted. On Sunday, the Israeli military carried out strikes against 12 Hezbollah command centers in the southern Beirut suburb of Dahiyeh. On Saturday, it had carried out one of its deadliest and most powerful strikes in the center of Beirut, Israel says its aim is to secure the return home of tens of thousands of people evacuated from its north due to rocket attacks by Hezbollah, which opened fire in support of Hamas at the start of the Gaza conflict in October 2023. In a precautionary move, air defenses were in operation in Kyiv late on Sunday as Ukraine shot down 50 of the 73 Russian drones a day earlier. The drones were downed over Ukrainian cities of Kyiv, Cherkasy, Kirovohrad, Chernihiv, Sumy, Poltava and Zhytomyr oblasts. In response to the attack, President Volodymyr Zelensky called on Ukraine's Western partners to concentrate their efforts on providing a better air defense system. Zelensky said that Ukraine was working with its allies to find a response to Russia's use of a new medium-range ballistic missile last week, and forensic work was proceeding on the missile fragments to determine all the details and specifications concerning the missile and for finding together a response to the escalation move, as he put it. US President-elect Donald Trump's top security pick, Mike Waltz, called for escalation between Russia and Ukraine on Sunday. Waltz stressed that the incoming Trump's administration would work on peace deals, quote-unquote, in West Asia.
The president-elect has been very concerned about the escalation and where it's all going. If North Korea has made this move, we have made a move, Russia has now responded, Iran is involved, South Korea is thinking about getting involved. Our allies have now, extended the range of their missiles as well. So we need to bring this to a responsible end. We need to restore deterrence, restore peace, and get ahead of this escalation ladder rather than responding to it. We had peace deals being signed on the White House lawn just 4 years ago. Look at where we are today. I am confident President Trump and his leadership and the team that he is putting around him will get us back to that point in pretty short order.
A Russian daily, Kommersant newspaper has reported that Russia is likely to name Alexander Darchev soon as its new ambassador to Washington. Citing these unidentified sources, Kommersant newspaper further states that Darchev is currently the head of the Foreign Ministry's North American Department and a former ambassador to Canada. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. 6 people were killed in an armed attack early on a Sunday at the Doordarshan bar in Mexico's Tabasco when an armed commando reportedly targeted one of the patrons, leading to the shooting. 5 people died at the scene while 1 more passed away en route to the hospital. Additionally, 10 others were injured and taken to various hospitals in the city. Madrid residents attended a unique mass at the Vaticano Church on Sunday, where even a bride and groom exchanged rubber duck rings. Founded by comedian Elio Bassi in 2012, the quirky church attracts large crowds with its mix of humor and current affairs. One of Europe's most popular tourist destinations, Edinburgh, is offering visitors a unique perspective through the eyes of tour guides who have experienced homelessness. Homelessness in Scotland has increased by 8% this year, with more people either assessed as homeless, staying in temporary accommodation, or making homelessness applications. Still to come on DD India News Hour. COP29 makes climate finance pledge of $300 billion a year. India and countries of Global South feel the pledge falls well short of what's needed. Busan to host a 5th UN Committee on Plastic Pollution to hammer out the world's first treaty to tackle plastic pollution's explosive growth. We will show you all the buzz around the 55th IFFI and as to who won the coveted title of Creative Minds of Tomorrow 48-hour challenge.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. COP29 President Mukhtar Babayev closed the UN Climate Summit in Baku on Sunday after delegates adopted a $300 billion a year global finance target. The deal to help poorer nations cope with the impacts of climate change was not accepted by India, Nigeria, and several countries of the global south. The amount falls well short of expectations. Here's a report.
COP29 concluded in Baku with a deal under which developed countries and the EU are required to provide at least $300 billion per year by 2035 for climate finance, an increase from the previous $100 billion per year. The funds will come from various sources, including government budgets, private sector investments, and potential global taxes on industries like aviation and maritime.
We had many difficult conversations. We never stopped pulling you together. We pushed you to reach for the highest possible ambition. With this breakthrough, the Baku finance goal will turn billions into trillions over the next decade.
The US and EU have pushed for wealthier developing countries like China and Saudi Arabia to contribute to climate finance. China refused to change its status but agreed that its contributions via multilateral development banks would count towards the $300 billion goal.
And we have worked hard with all of you to ensure that there is significantly more money on the table. We're tripling the 100 billion goal, and we feel it is ambitious, it is needed, it is realistic, and it is achievable.
Developing countries have also been encouraged to make voluntary contributions. There were disagreements among developing nations on fund allocation. The least developed countries and the Alliance of Small Island States had specific financial demands that were not included in the final deal. A report on boosting climate finance for these nations is expected at the next COP in Brazil in 2025. India firmly rejected the document in its current form.
As we struggle to deal with climate change, the outcome proposed in the paper will further affect our ability to adapt to climate change, greatly impact our NDC ambitions and its implementation, and create further challenges to our resilience, and above all, will severely impact growth.
The promise to transition away from fossil fuels, a key achievement of COP28, was not reinforced in the final deal. Efforts to include annual monitoring of the transition away from oil, gas and coal were also not included, reflecting resistance from producer countries.
You expect us to have ambitious NDCs. The NCQG was supposed to enable us to have realistic finance goals. $300 billion is unrealistic. Let us tell ourselves the truth. This is 3 a.m. and we are going to clap our hands and say this is what we're going to do. I don't think so.
The COP29 deal includes an ambitious goal of delivering at least $1.3 trillion per year by the next decade to meet climate needs, as estimated by UN experts. The hope is that the $300 billion commitment will catalyze private investments to reach this target. But the Global South feels this is too little, too late. Bureau Report, DD India.
On the heels of contentious climate talks in Azerbaijan, negotiators from around the globe are descending on Busan in South Korea this week with another formidable goal: to hammer out the world's first treaty designed to tackle plastic pollution's explosive growth. The talks start today, but lingering divisions have cast doubts on whether a final agreement is in sight. Let's listen in to Aarti Rana's report.
South Korea's port city of Busan is set to host the 5th round of UN talks on plastic pollution from Monday. It is ostensibly final UN Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee meeting after the previous round of talks in Ottawa ended without a path forward on capping plastic production. The 5th session of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee will try and hammer out an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution. The debate is expected to focus on whether the deal should seek to slash production. Major producers such as Saudi Arabia and China have urged less contentious strategies such as waste management. Negotiators are working towards the first ever global plastic treaty that addresses not just how plastics are discarded, but also how much plastic is produced and how it is used. The treaty could become the most significant pact to address global climate warming emissions since the 2015 Paris Agreement. Ahead of the meeting, climate activists have been marching, displaying artworks made of plastic waste and calling for the plastic treaty to call legally binding power. Key to any accord will be the United States and China. Earlier this year, Washington raised hopes among environmentalists by signaling support for some limits on production. The election of Donald Trump has raised questions about how ambitious the US delegation will be. Final agreement is due in December, making this one of the fastest UN-led treaty efforts to date. Aarti Rana's report for TT India.
Meanwhile, severe weather incidents trouble Europe as Storm Bert continues to batter UK and Ireland. Floods from Storm Bert inundated parts of England and Wales as residents battled high water levels after intense rainfall. River Taff in Wales is also close to bursting its banks as it flows under a bridge in Pontypridd. According to the weather officials, the multi-hazard storm is expected to bring snow besides rain and wind in the UK for most of the weekend. Incessant rainfall in Bolivia has caused the Pascagoula River to overflow. This has led to major floods in the neighborhood of Bajo Lojeta on the outskirts of La Paz, and rescue operations are underway as many people were injured, trapped or missing. Local authorities have informed that at least 26 people were injured. Some 300 military personnel were deployed to help evacuate residents and clean up the area. President Luis Arce also visited the community and vowed to carry out all the necessary work. Let's now look at all that is making news in the 55th International Film Festival of India. The short film Gullu, shot by Team Green, won the coveted title of Creative Minds of Tomorrow 48-hour challenge. With this, the participants are all set to step into the world of filmmaking, having established a connection with world leaders in this unique festival already. Here's a report.
This IFFI this time is, everybody told me, is called vibrancy. And vibrancy and vibes actually have come in from the presence of all of you. We had students from various institutions who had come in. We also have the debut director award for the first time in IFFI. We had CMOT at such a scale. And I'm told the quality of the work that you have turned out is also absolutely exemplary. We have IFFI. If some of you are staying back, if not been able to go there, I would request all of you to go there. I've gone there yesterday, and believe me, that area was rocking. You should go there because, you know, that's where the festival part of IFFI would lie. All these 5 films, along with the winning films, etc., we will also stream them on our Bharat Ka Apna OTT, that is Waves OTT, which is entertainment ki Nai Lahar. We'll continue to work together. It's just the beginning, and I'm sure we'll cross paths many times over.
The winner of the best film, what we have already awarded today twice, and that is the film which is going to get the best film also, that is Gullu.
Doing the honors is Special Secretary Miss Jaishankar.
And the final winners of the Creative Minds of Tomorrow Challenge have been announced. It is Green Gulus of Team 5. Many congratulations to all of you. How happy are you? Because, you spent a lot of time in this challenge and we saw a lot of emotions. We captured those when you were finishing and meeting your deadline. How do you feel right now after winning this coveted prize?
I feel really happy, really thankful, and a lot of gratitude to the whole team. So it is like to every one of the people standing here that we got this award.
Tell us more about Gullu.
Gullu is a story of finding yourself through connecting, finding the magic in yourself through connecting to strangers. That is exactly what our team also was.
The past 24 hours would have been really challenging for you. We saw you, completing the deadline and not even looking here and there and completely into your system. And now holding the prize, how does that make you feel? And how will this particular, announcement help you in your future plans?
I was really excited and I have a dream actually. मैं केरला गया था, केरला फिल्म फेस्टिवल में गया था और वहाँ मैंने लोगों को देखा कि वहाँ स्टेज पे जा रहे हैं अवार्ड लेने के, एंड आई वाज लाइक कि वन डे आई विल बी देयर.
Very good, super. And now, tell us about your dreams, because I know that everybody of you are coming from different cities, and together you made a team here only. What were the challenges that you faced throughout the entire 48-hour challenge process?
A lot of challenge. The main challenge was because we were shooting at the beach, so we had to make sure that we need to finish shooting before sunsets, because otherwise we have to come on the other day, which was not possible because it's only 48-hour film challenge. So we tried to get the shots done in minimum takes with maximum expressions and all whatever we could, and the actors did really well. They were like really on point with the shots. We hardly took 5 to 6 shots for like maximum for any, and it worked really well for us.
The 48 hours Creative Minds of Tomorrow challenge is finally over, and we have the first runners-up with us. Team Purple is the first runner-up. Tell us more about your subject that won the hearts today.
Well, we were focused on trying to depict the story of people who were not able to speak as well as not able to see. And it was a very tricky subject to kind of deal with and also showcase it in a very beautiful light. And we tried our best, and I'm very glad that it was shown and executed in such a way that it came out in that way. And they considered our film to be worthy of this award. And I'm really, really happy with the entire team. It's a collective work. It's not it's collective work. Everybody was working hard throughout, sleeplessly working. So yeah, it's been quite an experience for all of us to be here.
And the INB secretary was himself here to present the awards, and you had other dignitaries also. How would you define this moment? Because I'm sure this is a matter of honor for all of you, being awarded by such dignitaries and being recognized at a national level.
It's quite a, honor. It's surreal for all of us to be able to be in this moment and really understand that it's happening for real. We have been not really working on the result, not been like whether we're going to win or not, but we have been just giving our best throughout, and to be able to get such an honor, it's like a fruition of your hard work, and which is very, very important. It's reassuring in your whole hard work that whatever you were doing, you were doing the right thing. So, and to be able to have such an honor from amongst these dignitaries is quite a surreal moment for all of us.
How is it going to help you in your future endeavors?
I think more than national, it's an international opportunity for all of us.
And I don't think any other countries is providing such an opportunity for young artists. So I'm the actress in this movie and he's my actor. So thank you, and we are really honored, and I believe this is one of the junction of our life to make a big step.
You've been seeing a lot of actors and actresses moving around you while you were shooting. Did you draw any sort of inspiration while shooting, or were you just a bit nervous when you were shooting for this 48-hour challenge?
So I drew inspiration from life, as I do. So whenever the character comes up to me, any type of character, so the first thing I do is that I look up in my own life where these emotions are there in my life and what do I have to add onto it. And so that's how I go about it. And I guess I was not nervous. I was whole excited to do this. And yeah, there were a lot of doubts for sure because we had so much crunch of time. But I'm glad that we all made it.
My work shines out because of the poetic script and these two beautiful actors.
So there you heard Team Purple, who are the first runners-up at Creative Minds of Tomorrow Challenge. It is a unique challenge that offers a great opportunity to young filmmakers and also provides a platform where they can connect with international and national filmmakers as well as the creators of it. Conceptualization is also one thing that gets a proper definition here through such initiatives. With camera person Alok, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Closing arguments coming in from US Google antitrust trial on online advertising. And in sports, world number 1 Jannik Sinner leads Italy to consecutive Davis Cup title. And marking the start of the holiday season, Paris's iconic Champs-Élysées lit up with its annual Christmas display. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. On to some business international news. Google and the US government will face off in a federal court on Monday as each side delivers its closing arguments in a case revolving around the technology giant's monopoly in online advertising. The trial in a Virginia federal court is Google's second online US antitrust case as the US government tries to rein in the power of big tech. In a separate trial, a Washington judge ruled that Google's search business is an illegal monopoly, and the US Justice Department is asking that Google sell its Chrome browser business to resolve the case. Asian stocks rallied with US equity futures on Monday, while the dollar retreated against rivals as bond yields slid following the selection of fund manager Scott Bessent as the next US Treasury Secretary, with investors expecting he will be a voice for markets in Washington. Japan's Nikkei jumped 1.6% and South Korea's Kospi climbed 1.5%. Australia's share market rose 0.7% and reached a record high. Hong Kong's Hang Seng 2 added 0.2%. The week's trade is likely to be lightened by Thursday's Thanksgiving holiday in the United States. India's benchmark indices are also anticipated to open positively following the BJP-led alliance's significant victory in the Maharashtra State Assembly elections. With India setting its sight to be a $5 trillion economy in the next few years, Maharashtra, as an engine of this growth story, aims to be a $1 trillion economy by itself. Hence, the political stability in the western state is crucial for Indian markets given its economic clout and significance. Contributing 15% to India's GDP and 20% of its industrial output, the state accounts for 3.6 crore or 18% of the demat accounts out of the total of 20 crore demat accounts registered to NSE. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for all the sports action. Mohammad Siraj gave India the important wicket of Usman Khwaja on the fourth day of the Perth Test. Steve Smith has now been joined by Travis Head at the crease as 4 down, Australia are in a desperate need of a stable partnership. On the other hand, India bowlers are eyeing some quick wickets to bundle out the hosts at the earliest. India are 7 wickets away from winning the Perth Test against Australia and taking a commanding 1-0 lead in the 5-match series. Set to chase an improbable target of 534, Australia were reduced to 12 for 3 at the end of stumps on day 3 by the visitors. DD India's Narayan Singh joins us now from Delhi. Narayan, how close is India to a historic victory in the Perth Test?
It's a mountain to climb for the Australian team right now, the things as they are in the Perth Test, and we know that chasing a target of more than 500 in any test match definitely is going to be a Herculean task for any team, and the kind of performance Indian batsmen, especially young Yashasvi Jaiswal, performed, and after that Virat Kohli. And we know that there were questions over the form of the Virat Kohli, and even before the start of the series, the various players, especially the Ricky Ponting, pointed out that a person with such figure can't play the international cricket. And we know that the Virat Kohli don't have any century in the only 2 centuries in the past 5 years in the Test cricket, and now again he has scored a century at the Perth ground. In 2018 to here he scored a century, but it was on a losing course. But this time around, the India is in complete domination, and kudos to Yashasvi Jaiswal, the kind of inning he played. In the first inning, he was out for 0. And before that, in the series against the New Zealand also, the figures were not looking good. But here, first time playing in the Australian condition, and in the first inning, out for a duck, and in the second inning, playing a fantastic knock against one of the fearsome bowling attack in the world, and that is in Perth. We know that Australia has a perfect record in the Perth, and at this stadium, the newly built Optus Stadium, where they have played 4 matches and winning all the 4 matches. And this time around, we know that it's an impossible task for Australia to win the match, because of scoring and winning and chasing a big target like this is impossible. And we also know that India is coming to this series after being first time whitewashed in a 3-match series that was against New Zealand, and they were low on confidence. Question was asked about their performance, but in the absence of the key player, we know that Rohit Sharma is not there, and also Ravindra Jadeja and Ashwin has also been benched for this match. So we should also praise the selectors, the management, the BCCI, and the coach Gautam Gambhir, also the kind of courage they showed here, and brought players like Nitish Kumar Reddy and Harshit Rana. They too played important knocks here for the Indian team. So all in all, it's going to be a big win, considering the fact that the World Test Championship points are also on the line, and India at least needs to win 4 test matches. This is a 5-match test series. If India wins 4 test matches in Australia, which is like an unimaginable thing in modern day cricket, to win 5 matches in Australia, 4 matches at least, for 5 from the 4. So we are hoping that the kind of performance they have delivered here, if they win the first test match, definitely their tempo will be high, they will be high on confidence. And definitely in the past they have done, they won 2 back-to-back series in Australia, and this time around we are hoping they can make a hat-trick. So nothing can be bigger than this, winning 3 back-to-back series in Australia and booking a slot for the World Test Championship final for the Indian team.
Yes, more on Jasprit Bumrah. He became only the second bowler after Sydney Barnes in 1914 to have more than 150 wickets in tests at an average of less than 20. So how do you see Bumrah's performance?
Bumrah is one of the best bowlers in the world right now, and We know that he is the architect of this win after India were bundled out for 150 in the first innings, and he came back, and the way he bowled and just removed Australia and taking a lead of around 46 runs. It was only because of Bumrah. We know that he is a scientist, cricket scientist. He know how to bowl in any condition. He is not a bowler only for the T20s, for the ODIs. He's a all format bowler, and we know that here too, where the Australian bowlers on the home condition, they fluffed, but Jasprit Bumrah doesn't. This is the unique thing with the Jasprit Bumrah. He know how to bowl in every conditions, and we know that he is a match-winning bowler for India. If Jasprit Bumrah is there, we know that anything is possible for this Indian team. And we know that he brought the confidence in the Indian team, and the first time we know that two captains, two pace bowlers are captaining both the sides, and Jasprit Bumrah is also captaining in the absence of Rohit Sharma. Exceptionally well, he captained his team, he used his resources at the best, and definitely Bumrah, we know that going to create history by winning a first test match at this Optus Stadium for India, and just boosting the morale of his team for the remaining matches of the series.
Right. Also, Narayan, will Australia need massive performances from the middle order, that is from Steve Smith and Travis Head, to turn the tables, and is that even possible?
We know that Travis Head, the key batsman last time around when India were up against Australia in the finals of the WTC World Test Championship final, he was the architect of this win, and in the World Cup final too, Travis Head was the man who did the job for the Australia. But we know that when you have a big target like a target more than 500, and already you are 4 wickets down, and we have the world-class bowling attack in the form of Jasprit Bumrah, and Siraj is also doing well, and the way Harshit Rana and Nitish Kumar Reddy, we know that they also are capable of doing the damage to the Australian team. It's going to be difficult because we know that on day 3 the pitch was benign and they were looking like that's the batting pitch, but towards the end of the day 3 under the shadow we saw that there were uneven bounce in the pitch, and today as the way Mohammad Siraj started taking the wicket of the Australian batsman Usman Khwaja, it will be difficult for them to be play to the potential, and already we know that the mindset of the Australian team, once you damage them through your performance, once you dismantle them, definitely it's very difficult for any Australian team to recover, and here we know that India has done exactly that job. And it may be possible in cricket, everything is possible. We know that cricket is the game of uncertainty, but here it's looking things very different, looking very impossible. And we can say that big task for the Australian team. It's like a mission impossible for them here.
Narayan, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining us from New Delhi. Italian Jannik Sinner completed a remarkable season by sealing for his country a second successive Davis Cup title with a 2-0 victory over Netherlands in the final at Malaga on Sunday. World number 1 Sinner produced a commanding display to outclass Talon Greek Spoor in the second singles rubber to wrap up the win after Matteo Berrettini comfortably beat Botic van de Zan's Schulp 6-4, 6-2. In the first singles clash, it was Italy's third title in the elite men's team competition, following their triumphs in 1976 and last year. A week after capturing the ATP Finals title, Sinner led Italy to another triumph to cap a season in which he also won 2 Grand Slam titles. Paul Horhuis's Netherlands were looking to capture their first title in 104 years after reaching the final for the first time, but favourites Italy simply overpowered them. Australia's most decorated Olympian, Emma McKeon, has announced her retirement from competitive swimming, bringing to a close a glittering career during which she won 14 Olympic medals, including 6 golds. The 30-year-old, who revealed this year that the Paris Games would be her last, in fact, Olympics, said she had given her all throughout her career and was proud of her successes in the pool. McKeon signed off in Paris with a 6th and final Olympic gold medal as a member of Australia's 4x100 meter freestyle team that saw her surpass Ian Thorpe's previous benchmark for the most goals won by an Australian. Paris's iconic Champs-Élysées lit up with its annual Christmas display on Sunday, marking the start of the holiday season. A total of 400 trees along the avenue were decorated with LED lights shaped like wine glasses. Tourists and locals alike roamed on the avenue. The lights will glitter on the Champs-Élysées every night until midnight, until the 5th of January next year. That's it then in this edition of DD India News Hour. Do share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. This is Munmin Bhattacharya from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.